Hello. Happy whatever today is. Tuesday. No, Thursday. Twitch is saying you've been live for 24 hours. That is impossible. I shut down my computer at night. I gave up on the uptime dick measuring contest a long time ago. Turns out, restarting computers makes them more stable. All right, I think we left off yesterday, partway through a project, right? We were working on, I said yesterday, Tuesday. Who would have thought? I know, right? We were working on chromium and what will be gold on top of chromium. And I ran out of belts and power poles and some other stuff, so the system's not really running right now. I did what I said I was going to do at the end of the stream, and I came up to the mall to refill that stuff. Gold is a fascinating thing, IRL. From a, the economics of the ore perspective and how it's processed, or just the chemistry of gold in general? Both are interesting. Refinement and alloying, yeah. Also, I should say, apologies for being late today. I wish I had a good excuse, but I was playing Magic the Gathering, and I lost track of time. I mean, nothing I've ever said or played on stream has ever made anyone think I was a nerd until I discussed Magic the Gathering, right? So, what deck, though? My deck is awful, by which I mean awful for everyone else. Marvel Superheroes is the new set in Magic the Gathering Arena, and I pulled a Squirrel Girl, and I already had a bunch of squirrels from Bloomhaven stuff. So, I have built an awful infinite squirrel machine out of Squirrel Girl and Enduring Vitality and a bunch of other squirrels that give me things like, that give me a little bit of tutoring and mana acceleration and the other stuff that you need to get Squirrel Girl online by, I can have Squirrel Girl online and printing infinite squirrels by turn 3 or 4. 3 if the deck really hits hard, 4 a little bit more reliably. I need more work on making the deck a little bit more reliable, and I need some stuff to handle decks with a lot of removal and counterspell. Those hard counter me right now because I'm spending all my mana getting Squirrel Girl back onto the field, not printing squirrels. So I need to adjust some things. I have some stuff that's not pulling its weight. I want to try to get some hexproof in there. Oh, it's awful. There's two reactions from people that I play when they realize what's happening with the squirrels. Either they they're the kind of person that loves a good infinite combo, and they post an emote or something, and they're like, lol, good job. Or they just resign. The number of matches where I have not even been allowed to attack the other player with 300 squirrels because they just resign is really disappointing to me. Yeah, we're lane balancing over here. That's fine. And then right now the chromite sand is all going to chromite sand output to be buffered. I guess I could just make this an even split. We don't really have to prioritize one side or the other. And then molten chromium, and we got all of these parts hooked up, right? It's just no, we're not fully hooked up. How would you feel facing down a horde of rabies? Yeah. Also, why did I think 2 inserters were enough for like 50? Whatever. Doesn't matter. We'll fix it. Another situation where loaders would be preferable. I should probably use stack inserters here as well, but you know what? If these guys can keep up, they cannot. Well, maybe, because this belt isn't going to be full long term. Streamer brain TM, yep. All right, let's pop into YFC and try to refresh my memory of what the next step is. So I think we got down to these 2 things that make chromite sand and the molten chromium from the arc furnaces. Yes. So that leaves... Oh, and the casting. So yeah, everything else is just the gold processing. So starting from chromite mix... Or sorry, from the chromite solution to make the mix, the fines, the concentrate. Oh, and this makes a little bit of chromium ingot. Okay. We're going to have to refactor a little bit. Because we're going to have... Also, did I hook this up directly without a molten chromium output? Jeez, why am I so bad at this game? Because we're going to have a trickle of chromium coming from elsewhere, I don't want to do direct insertion here. This is another situation like lead silver, unfortunately, yes. I don't want to do direct insertion here because we're going to have more chromium, so I want to be able to priority merge the chromium rejects from here up into the belt. This looks a lot like what I did actually at copper. I think I use enough chromium. At least for our current gold demand. But yeah, you can see here we had these outputting, but I am priority feeding the copper plate that comes from other parts of the process into this, so that when we pull copper plate, we're pulling, we don't back up on this side product. And we're going to want to do the same thing with the chromium. We do still want... Excuse me. Like this, I guess. We'll do something like that. And then up here, we can have our 2... chromium. And the other thing I need is I need a molten chromium output, which I didn't hook up. Where's my lights? Lights. And that's from this pipe up to here. I mean, we should just do it like here, right? Fluid pickup. Lights in the build? I know. Wild. Look, I'm trying to be a better streamer, okay? And that means people need to see what I'm doing. Oh, that's never gonna happen. City blocks are so boring. Oh, these all need to be a little bit higher, don't they? Because I need room here for this belt to actually come in and connect this. And then this comes over here. We can just split the molten chromium between the two processes. That's fine. All of this belt is extraneous. That should do the job. And then we'll have our other chromium coming in this way. Possibly we should do a... Gonna do a splitter and overflow. It's just split for now. If I end up with weird prioritization issues, I'll fix it. But, like, if we're making enough chromium, it's not a problem. Same down here with the chromite sand, right? If we're making enough, it just doesn't matter how we prioritize the two paths. It also occurs to me I could make more of these electric arc furnaces because I'm only accounting for the case when we're making, like, gold and chromite sand. If I set both of those to 0, we would probably need another arc furnace. Let's try that. You can't actually set things to 0 in YAFC. It gets really, really sad if you do that. But... yeah, 8.35. So 2 more arc furnaces would be perhaps a worthwhile endeavor. 16 high-pressure furnaces making graphite. How many do I have? 14. So yeah, 2 more arc furnaces and 2 more graphite machines would not go amiss. We can grab those later, though. I will just copy and paste 1 more in so that it's ready to go. Oh, did I do that right? Did I do 4 of each of those? I didn't. I did 2 of each. Anywho. The next... I think the next thing is the gold. Well, we can do the input for the quartz and for the coke. Sorry, let me fix YAFC back to what it's supposed to be. I can see what I'm doing. Yeah, we're gonna have a little bit more, or not quartz, borax, sorry. A little bit more borax, and about a whole red belt of coke. So yeah, this is gonna be a split belt between graphite and borax. Oof. That's not gonna work, is it? I mean, I can route this better and make space here to do what I need to do, so we're gonna do that, unfortunately. this sand belt needs to be like one lower. And then this is bringing in borax and coke. So the borax is just half a belt, which is that. Well, except it's half a red belt, so let's be smarter. That is a lot of chromite sand that ended up in my inventory. And can I get this down even one further? Not really. How do I want to route the chromite sand out of here? I mean, I could definitely zigzag this sand belt like through here to get it where it needs to go. Maybe that's the better choice. And then I can get the chromite sand through here. High pressure furnaces to make graphite with prod modules in them. So that outputs... Well, it's going to be about 12.5 peak. So 6, 7, 8. There we go. That'll merge with this, which unfortunately is just going to be on a belt like that because I don't have a reasonable way right now to what's the word I'm looking for? I just don't have enough space to do this on both halves of a yellow belt, so it's just going to be half of a red belt coming in. I don't love doing that. It's kind of wasteful, but whatever. don't really have space on that side, do I? I don't really have space anywhere, do I? This is gonna be tight. Oh no, I already set up this belt to be my inputs. Aha, I'm way ahead of myself. This is that input belt. All right. Now these just need oxygen. That is something that I can definitely handle. Well, I say that. Question is, can I route it down with the rest of my plumbing? I can't imagine there's space at this point to route anything else through here. No. So we're going to route this across up here, which is fine. It's far enough north. Barely. Oh, you want carbon dioxide as an input, not oxygen. I am an idiot. Okay. Where's the carbon dioxide? I don't have it. Wait, I don't have it? Really? Did I just miss that as an input when I was going through this list? Yes. I can also add the ammonia and the cyanic acid because we finally built those tanks. All right, there we go. So carbon dioxide, I mean, same thing, right? I just have to drag the pipe a little bit further north. And of course, I just reconnected the oxygen. That'll be molten chromium. And I believe this is now actually the end of the chromium build, and we can work on gold. So gold starts from the chromite solution. This pipe is chromite solution, chromite solution, chromite solution. More chromite solution. Yeah, into here. So this... Oh, I should double check if we're not making gold if we need one more evaporator. What does YAFC say about that? Not that it really matters. I think we're making so much chromium that if our gold demand is low, we will still make plenty of chromium. 1.45 using 72.4 chromite solution. And the gold only uses 11.2, so that's still well within 2 evaporators. Okay, we're good. But this needs to be an overflow valve. Because we only want to be running this when we're not making gold. So, first step is... Yeah, the gold bit is all like one building for everything. It's all very small. What are we starting with? We're starting with a mixer. Making chromite mix from our chromite, whatever it's called, solution. And hydrogen peroxide. Let's find hydrogen peroxide. Peroxide. Yeah, it's going to take a little while to burn through all this chromite sand, making molten chromium and chromium ingots. Oh, and these still need sand castings as well. I'll have to decide where I'm bringing those in. We have space in this one, right? Yeah, let's do that. Let's just get that set up. Okay, next, chromite mix goes into a scrubber to make chromite fines. And that is 2 scrubbers per... No. 2 mixers per scrubber, so it is not... It's not really nicely ratioed to make it worth trying to do some sort of quick direct insertion build. So I'm not going to. And then centrifuge for chromite concentrate. Again, 2 to 1. Do I have gold? Gold is for blue chips. So, at this point, not exactly, but soon. Like, gold chips is the big project right now. Is sulfuric something we are already pulling down here? No. But yeah, the reason I'm doing this is pretty much entirely because I need gold, not because I need a lot more chromium. I should have plenty of time for debuffer, yeah. That is true. I just erased that aluminum ore, and now I can't, like... It turns out I was using it as a landmark. I'm like, where am I? Where are my pipes? Nothing makes sense anymore. A wet scrubber. Making prepared chromium. Again, none of these are really cleanly ratioed, so we will do this in preparation for scaling them up later. and put some lights in. The prepared chromium goes into a centrifuge to make chromium rejects. And once again, not ratioed. So we do something like that. Are any of these stages ratioed? I mean, some of them are 2-to-1 ratioed, and I could try to figure out like a DI or direct plumbing setup, but meh. I like my nice organized columns. Makes it easier to figure out how to like scale things up. Okay, so that was the first centrifuge making chromium rejects. And this is what spits out a little bit of actual chromium ingots, right? Yes. And then the next stage will do whatever it does. I'm actually just going to use a long-handed inserter here, so the belt's a little bit nicer looking. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do what I did with copper. We're going to take... What am I doing? I want to put a chest here. And a stack inserter. And that way... Will this go on the right or the left? I never... Okay, it goes on the right. Which means that I can do this like that. A little bit cleaner. This way we're stacking it so that as it's coming in to this part of the setup... Wow. Can I do this slightly less terribly? Yes. Wait, no, I can't do that. I'm gonna have more stations there. Brandon, come on. Pay attention. It was almost impressive? Yeah. Nothing ever lines up when I want it to, but when things are in the way of each other... Alright, so that'll be belt balanced, that'll be stacked, and that will just merge in with this. It's ridiculous. It's gonna be like one stack coming by every, like, minute, but whatever. It'll merge more cleanly this way, and that's what matters. All right, next is another centrifuge. Doing the gold precipitate. Yep. And this needs water. I do have a water pipe around here somewhere. There it is. Water. Gold precipitate out. Gold precipitate feeds into a leaching station. What am I sitting on efficiency modules for? Ah, the last 2 steps of gold have efficiency modules. Okay. Gold concentrate. Yeah, that is up to 2.5 a second. Obviously, it's not pulling 2.5 a second right now. This can only make 0. Oh, no, that's the output. But when I upgrade this, if I don't put this fast inserter here, I'm going to forget that I have a slow inserter, and then I'm going to wonder why it's not running correctly. We've done this before. The fact that some of them have sound before they're even running is annoying. Yeah, there's a tracking issue for, like, annoying sounds in buildings in Pi on GitHub. It is a known problem. There was one for Angel Bobs, too. I believe that. Created 10,000 military science. How long did that take us? When did we make our first military science? Doesn't tell me. Yes, it does. So 758 hours, 47 minutes. We made our first one. We made our first 1,000 less than half an hour later. We made 10,000 over the course of 9 hours? Which I think means that if I look at this over the past 10 hours, since we turned it on, yeah, we had some blips. Gold precipitate type 2 in a wet scrubber. And this is going to be the gold whatever plus, what is that? Sodium bisulfate and sulfuric acid, which we do already have coming out along the fluid bus somewhere. And I guess the bisulfate can feed in here, right? And then another wet scrubber. No, these are not ratioed, even though they're the same building. Making gold solution, which needs ammonia. Let's find ammonia over here. Oh, I do like the fluid bus coming off the back of these, though. It's not the most compact fluid bus in the whole world, but all the parallel pipes definitely tickle the brain. This also needs a little bit of coal dust, okay. A lot of coal dust. Okay, in that case, let's do this like this, and we'll do coal dust and the gold. Just for the sake of being able to expand this later, because it uses so much coal dust. And then what's next? An electrolyzer. You get moduled, making the gold whatever. And this needs a bunch of other inputs too. Oh, more graphite. I didn't realize graphite was a shared resource. That's fine, because we also need some coke for the next step. So I will bring over a belt that's a little bit of graphite and coke from the chromite half of this whole thing. And then iron oxide, I guess we'll bring in at the same station that we bring in words. Coal dust. And nichrome. Okay, so yeah, iron oxide, nichrome, coal dust all need to come in at a new station. That's fine. Basic oxygen furnace. Nope. There we go. Making gold. Last of those. And then this is also going to need... Well, this is where the coal is going to come in. Let's actually do this one here. And then the coke will feed in here. And then this is going to be our output of gold and ash. Gold and ash would be a great title for something. All right. The question I have for myself right now is, I think I need to adjust this belt. We're going to run this like here. I've got to pull off a little bit of, like I was saying, coke and whatever this is, graphite. What does this one need? That needs the bisulfate. That needs coal dust. This needs graphite. This one needs coke. Okay. So nichrome and iron oxide will come in on their own belts. And then graphite will do that. And that'll be coke. Have any of these ones started running yet? No, we're not getting chromite solution. Why not, though? We're stalled on something. Probably a byproduct output somewhere. Oh, here, the gravel. Where does gravel get used? We're stalled before we get anywhere near to that point. The whole chromite processing is stalled, and it's stalled because this is where the gravel needs to get routed to. I knew we were using the gravel somewhere, and I just realized I hadn't hooked it up. It's here. So the gravel output from all the way down here needs to somehow get routed all the way over there. And I think this is one of those times where I choose to break my rules. I don't like doing this, but when you have to, you have to. Make sure I'm hooking this up to the right machine. I am. We also do need to bring in a little bit more gravel to merge with this, so that'll be part of the rest of our inputs for gold. I don't think I'm going to be able to put a station here, unfortunately. Oh, this one I'm going to have to move, though, because I am going to put a station here. This is sulfuric, and these pipes are going to be in the way. Oh, maybe they won't be in the way. Maybe everything will fit. What are the chances? But you can see why this doesn't quite get routed there. Yeah, I think I've just got too much going on here as far as belts coming through to be able to put another station here. And I could try. But it's, yeah, that's just too tight. It's fine. What are the inputs we need for all of the gold steps? We need a little bit more gravel. We need sodium bisulfate, coal dust, iron oxide, nichrome. So that's 5 things. I'm just going to use a big station. I don't think it's worth putting 2 stations down. Sodium bisulfate. Gravel. Iron oxide. Nichrome. And coal dust. I'll probably have to refactor this whenever we, like, start to need gold in the less than half per second quantities, because this is a lot of stuff to pull into one station. It'll work for now, though. Gravel, and we'll deal with everything else in a second. Why is this gravel not running? Oh, because I put the belt backwards. That would do the trick. All right, that'll unblock all of the chromium processing. Start pushing things up to this end. All right, here we go. This one needs bisulfate. This one needs the coal dust. I think I'm going to do the same thing that I did here and just send a belt down with both and split it. We need a lot more coal dust than bisulfate, but... Oh, actually, the bisulfate and the iron oxide are used in the same amounts. So let's put bisulfate and iron... Well... Except I could put the iron oxide and nichrome on one belt, because they go to the same place. Yeah, let's just do the bisulfate and the coal dust on one belt, and when I need to refactor it, I'll refactor it. Evening. Good to see you. And bisulfate first, bisulfate first. And the other half will be coal dust. And then the iron oxide nichrome combo comes over to here. And that should be everything as these machines start to get their various inputs sorted out. What are we working on today? I am wrapping up chromium and gold from Tuesday. Does this need a belt balancer here? Or maybe it just needs one here. Because these are output balanced. But I want to make sure that when we're pulling here, we're pulling from both sides of this. I don't know if we're going to do that correctly. Because this will keep feeding and we'll keep pulling from here, even though one of these lanes is backing up all the way up into here. So yeah, I need a belt balancer somewhere. Balancing it after the new input would also work, I guess. This should still work though, right? Doing it on this side. Because it'll all get directed to whatever side of the belt we're actually consuming. Hey Acid, good to see you. I could also do it after. I don't know if it matters. How are we doing today? We're doing all right. Actually, if I'm doing it after, we just do it right here, right? We get rid of the filter and we do both things all at once. We're doing well. We are making progress. After it makes sense to use both inserters. We do not need both inserters. They are absolutely overkill. But yes. That's gonna be fine then. That'll figure itself out. Next step is running. Good. Next step is running. All right. Well, it's ad break o'clock. I'm gonna pause. I don't always pause during the ad breaks, but we might pop the first gold milestone, and I want all you guys to see that. I'm gonna step away and get some water while the ad runs. I recommend you all take the chance to hydrate, stretch your legs, and I'll see everyone in just a few minutes. Welcome back, folks. I appreciate everyone sticking around through the break. All right, we're making gold. Gold precipitate coming through into here where it will make gold concentrate, which gets combined. Oh, this probably takes more than one of those, though, doesn't it? Oh, no, just one. Gold precipitate type 2. I like that each of these steps only needs one. Oh, there's the iron oxide coming through just in time. And... oh, I never hooked up these pipes. That's anticlimactic. All right, let's find our pipes here. Where's hot air? There's the streamer brain. I mean, people were coming in and saying hi, and then the ad break happened, and I have excuses. Whatever, it's fine. Now, this should be... Wow. I mean, on the one hand, this is good because the pipes will actually connect better this way. But seriously... There it is, first gold. And this lovely trickle of gold ingots gets to come up here, which I think is currently an input station, but will actually be an output station. And then we actually need one more pickup station. See if I can do this without destroying a bunch of pipes. We need one more pickup station because we're going to have an ash byproduct from this basic oxygen furnace. Broken pipe. Which one did I break? At the station. Ah, thank you. I should probably have a deconstruction planner that's like just rails or something. Rails and signals and asphalt. The like pick up everything that is... Yeah. Leave behind anything that doesn't belong to the rail network is real. Wow. Again with the perfect, that's all right. We can move that over one. What is this byproduct output? I just looked at it. Ash. That's not ash. And then this is the actual gold. And I think that's it. I think that's chromium fixed. I think that's gold running. And we're going to be outputting a grand total of like 0.8. Was your station call correct? It was. Yes. Sorry. I dropped it down. It was one of these ones here. You do think I should pave them all a bit more? I should pave them all a bit more. That's true. I should pave them all at all. It is currently completely unpaved. Total stations needed for the build. Oh, right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We ended up on 12. Was your call 12 or did you say 13? I forget. 15. Oh, way over. Yeah, well, I also, like... We ended up with however many fluids in one thing here. Oh, are we out of CO2 here? That's bad. Hopefully we have multiple trains with CO2 coming. I mean, if I'm running low on CO2... Yeah, the single fluid station that turned into this monstrosity. Most of these are just used in, like, a trickle, so it doesn't matter. And then... Why is this still backing up like this? Why are we pulling... Oh, this is not doing what I needed it to do. This is the wrong kind of... That's an input balancer, not an output balancer. Good job, Brandon. Do I remember how to make an output balancer off the top of my head? I mean, the other option is to do what I was doing before, which is just have the input balancer up here, separate from the... That... Will that work better? It'll do something. Yeah. That's doing what we need now. So this is going to be kind of weird because our demand is so low, but as we scale this up and we start to pull more of the gravel, the balancers and the two-sided belt will make more sense. It's honestly overkill right now. Cool. I think this is working. On to whatever the heck my next problem is. I don't know if I know what my next problem is. Expand phosphate rock mining. Is that... I mean, that is still a problem, isn't it? Wasn't there some stuff... Did I make notes in this? I didn't. We've contemplated chromium. Yotoi research and expansion is done, and the Domo upgrade is done. We did all that. Yes. Phosphate mining is for paramagnetic material? Yeah. Are we still running kind of low on phosphate rock? Yeah, kind of. But to do that, we needed some other stuff, right? That was like the supercrystalline structure, which we have a bunch of. I think it was the supercrystalline structure that we needed for the big phosphate mine. No, I need cobalt chromium alloy for the big phosphate mine. Which is where? Ah, it's here, I just didn't label it. Oh. Really? Oh, I guess, right. I never finished this build. And I never finished this build because this is when I realized that my fuel rods were screwed up because this wasn't getting fuel rods. And that's when we went on our adventure to fix antimony and silver. So I gotta finish this. Well, really just hook up the output. Fortunately, I only need like 1 or 2 big phosphate mines, and I don't think they use, well, how much do they use? Yeah, 10 each. Big old side quest finally coming full circle. Yep. So let's figure that out, because I do want to make sure that our phosphate rock situation is resolved. Let's make sure everything that we've built over the past month is actually running. And then we will pop back into the spreadsheets, and we will figure out what is the next input into blue circuits and blue mech parts that makes sense for us to jump into. We want to do blue circuits first, but they have so many things in common. So many of the same, like, new materials that... And I say this every time, I'm kind of trying to go through both at once and make sure that we're not gonna... oops, I wanted to go north. I took the first right. I wanted the second right. Make sure that we're accounting for both of them in the scale of all of our builds. No construction today, indeed. There will be more construction noise again eventually, but for now... How much is this making? 0.66 a second? Yeah, that's fine. Let's head up here. Let's request... Oh, right. We got that to drop off. We'll do that too. Big phosphate mine. 2 of those? How much do we actually need? Paramagnetic material uses it. Does phosphate glass use it directly? It does. Phosphorus pentasulfide uses it directly. Does stainless steel use it directly? Yes. Not phosphoric acid? That seems unlikely. Do I have that in the phosphoric acid? Oh, because I have it as a explicit thing. It shows up as, I don't think as an ingredient, it shows up as a desired product. Yeah. So what are we at? 50, 55, 70, 80, 95. And what's our current production? How many phosphate... are we making? 15... I mean, 45. And these all have speed modules on them? Yeah. So 45 out of, what did I say, 100? 50, 55, 70, 80 out of 95. Okay. So I need like 50 more. Here, let's do this. Phosphate rock mining. This is probably how I should be handling this. We will do ancient remains mining, speed modules. 3 of those. Yeah, another 3 regular miners, or I think we can do just 1. Big one. The big ones only take 1 speed module, though. Interesting. So yeah, either add 2 big ones, or add... four more small ones. Well, we don't really quite need 95, so yeah, 3 more small ones or 2 big ones. I think when I looked at the map, the big ancient remains were more reasonably positioned. Yeah, there's a big one here. Big one here. Big one there. That one's harder to get to. Big one there. That one's harder to get to. Big one here that we can do pretty easily. So yeah, I think this is part of why I decided to do this, is just when I was looking at the map and where the phosphate rocks are. Oh yeah, here's like 2 big ones right here. We can put those up to a thingy here, and we're done. So yeah, let's do two big ones. Those do burn through drill heads, though. Oh, but they don't need syngas. Nice. Okay. That is easy enough. So we can do big phosphate mines and 2 speed modules. And add these to the allow list for the mall. What are we missing? We're missing 2 fluid mining drills. Those will get made. We're missing graphene rolls and cobalt chromium alloy. Those are both things that need to be delivered to the mall. That should do it. Cobalt chromium alloy is, well, still chugging along, but I could hand deliver that. We don't need very much. Where's graphene? Oh yeah, we're making plenty of graphene for now. I may as well hand deliver a couple hundred cobalt chromium alloy just to get the thing bootstrapped. It's not used for anything except up at the mall. So, whatever. Well, at least not used in large quantities for anything except at the mall. I seem to recall. Why not? Yeah, it's just ghosted, so I can see how I wanted to build it for expansion. Yep. We might never actually build it expanded. Again, this is pretty much only used in buildings. At least that is my recollection. Yeah, all the big mines use it. Oh no, it is used in some other things. So yeah, we'll have to expand this. It's used in bio batteries, so it is used in a bunch of stuff. Although bio batteries are also mostly buildings. So we will have to expand that build at some point. Maybe there's something else that I thought was mostly buildings. Or maybe I just didn't notice bio batteries when I was looking at that before. I don't remember. It was more than a week ago. Mining Prod 6. Can we queue up Mining Prod 7 yet? Oh, we absolutely can. I'm just going to keep queuing up all the mining prods that I can actually run. Because why not? Oh, did this get done? This did get done. Cool. So we can hook this up too. Yeah, I've got the extra arc furnaces and high pressure furnaces. I mentioned this earlier when I was doing the build, but when I was going through EFC and setting up the buildings, I didn't account for letting chrome run a little bit faster if gold demand is below expected. This is already super overkill chrome, so it doesn't really matter. But with a couple more buildings, we can consume the full input just making chromium, so why not do it? Gold going faster when chromium is not in demand will just sort of happen on its own because I don't know what our... I already closed the tab in YAFC. Whatever our, you know, bottleneck building is, we're still only using a fraction of that building. So we'll be pushing a lot more through gold. It'll run, you know, kind of burstily faster than it needs to run on average. There we go. Interesting. Why are we struggling? How much borax does this pull? $12 a second? Okay. Maybe we need to balance these better. Although we use a lot of... Well, we can actually balance it at that level, can't we? If we do like 80 and 40, That's about their actual ratio. It's pretty close to 2 to 1. Oh, there's no trains with this. Am I out of borax again? That has been known to happen from time to time. Oh. That's a problem. Yeah, that's a problem. So what? 24 of these will pull 34.29 a second raw borax. Okay. That's a weird number. In 7 seconds. Yeah. But yeah, this situation needs to be resolved. I think I'm just gonna find a new raw borax like place to mine, and we're gonna move the raw borax onto the rails and bring a station in here. Let's fix that before we go and do the phosphate mining. Because borax is used in everything. Honestly, I'm probably not even making enough of it, but that's a different, well... Yeah, 35 a second. The build we just did for chromium can consume up to like 12 a second on its own. Maybe we should just rebuild borax, if we're going to rebuild it anyway. Close all the stuff that uses phosphate rock. That doesn't matter right now. All right. Ingredients. Borax. Oh, no. Oh, there's so many things. Okay. Really? High-tech circuit boards have a borax input? A little bit. Let's just get all of these tabs open. Let's figure out how much borax our peak pull is. And then figure out how the heck to produce that much borax. And again, because this is such a fundamental material, like, we're not running all of these things at full demand all the time. So, it's potentially not like the end of the world if we don't fully saturate the potential draw here. But it's nice to. Oh, a lot of these are in fairly small numbers, and also this doesn't give me a total, does it? So that's not really, well, whatever. 0.55. 0.75 plus 0.6 is like 1.35 plus 2.5. Let's just call it an even 4. 6, still basically 6. 9, call it 10. 12 plus 5 is 17, 18. We're at like 20. I'm kind of rounding here. 22 and a half plus 8, call it like 30. Plus another 8, 38, 39, 41, 53, like 60, 70, 73. Let's just say 75 is the magic number. Which is a lot. But like... Now I have to close all these freaking tabs. All right. I should have a tab for borax, right? Borax. Yeah, we're already theoretically making 30. So if I say we want 75... There we go. 71.4 is 50 machines. About 50... What's 7 times 8 is 56? Would that be 80 a second for 56 machines? It would be. And we'll make these Mark II mines with speed modules, and we only need 12 of them, which is great. And then if we make these Mark II washers, we only need 28 of those. And if we put speed modules in them, it's like 15. Oh, and then the numbers don't make sense anymore, of course. Speed is plus 80. What would 14 here? Let's clear this. What does 14 get us? 72 a second. If we go all the way up to 16, 82 and change. Okay. Yeah, let's request whatever that is, 82.3. Yeah, that one's 17. 82.25. There we go. And that's like a reasonably sized build. And it has a little bit of breathing room, 10% more, which is already more than we need. So I think this is what we need. As far as where to put it, raw borax, raw borax, raw borax. Why do I have multiple ones? Who are you? Oh, you're making boric acid. Wait, really? I have dedicated borax for boric acid? Surely not. Oh, this is my hydrogen chloride build. Ah, all right. Oh, and look at this. We've got a big borax here. And I did say we wanted 12 machines. Will they fit on here? Yeah, they will. Okay, perfect. So we'll do it right here. We need to bring in syngas. We need to output a ton of muddy sludge. And that's it. So it is 3 stations for the whole build. But while we're waiting for them all to build those things, let's get the phosphate rock mining set up. Our new big mines. Big phosphate mine number 1 goes here. Big phosphate mine number 2 goes right here. These will spit out 32 a second, which is fine on one half of a belt. Yeah, and you need drill heads. We'll deal with that in a second. How much are those two making combined? Oh, like 84 a second. Yeah, I think we're going to want to use both sides of that input, aren't we? Oh, I didn't put speed modules in. Duh. How much do these make? 44.7. What's 5 times 7.5? 37.5. Okay, so these are more than half a yellow belt. Sorry. I thought they weren't. They are. So we gotta do, I mean, this kind of thing, right? Except I never remember which. I'm really looking forward to 2.1 when it will remind me which lane it's actually going to put things on. Because I don't remember. I never do. There we go. Now I know which lane it's going to be on. Through the power of hooking it up a slightly different way. Yeah, on the right side of the belt in the direction of travel. I think it's because it's tied to the belt direction of travel and not to the, like, position of the inserter facing north or south. I, like... if that makes sense. My brain just refuses to believe that it's... Or just doesn't work right with it being tied to the belt and not, like, consistent from the inserter's perspective. Anyway. Solid drop-off for mining or drill heads or whatever they're called. Drill heads. Drill heads! Yeah, at least they're changing it. I mean, I have, what, 2,000 hours in this game, and I still just can't with the drop lane mechanics. I know to some extent it's a skill issue, but... Oh, that's... Let's reposition this. It doesn't really matter where it goes, so pull it back 1. That's also a pet peeve of mine, though I doubt they've changed that. You can't directly replace a belt with a splitter. It considers it to be a conflict. And I've never quite understood why, because dropping a splitter in the middle of a belt is a super common operation. I know it's not technically a direct upgrade, but... Anyway. This should have drill heads on the way. It doesn't. Because I didn't actually say I wanted a certain number of them. But that should be it. That'll be like 80-something thingies per second. I probably need to upgrade my mining productivity in YAFC because the in-game number doesn't match the YAFC number. Are we up to 60%? Yes, that's more like what we're seeing. Cool. That's phosphate rock mining. Why am I holding on to one speed module? Did I not put one in place at one of these? I did not. All right, what is next? Next is the borax rebuild that I was just looking at. I'll just leave the old borax running, I guess, because it'll supplement our needs until it fully mines itself out. But the new build will be able to completely handle the base, so I don't really have to worry about the old one anytime soon. And I saw that there's a decent patch here. Oh, that's also a nice patch. Maybe we do it here. Grab a station like right here coming south, and then we can pull the borax right up to it. Because we need like 3 train stations for borax. We have a mining fluid in, we have the muddy sludge out, and then the actual borax out. Yeah, that'll be fine. And there's still space here to extend this by, like, one more segment without colliding. Although that would be space for a lot more stations. All right, single fluid drop off for what's our mining fluid? Syngas. Certainly that won't be a problem. We're gonna have a fluid pickup. And this will be the output for the muddy sludge. And then we will have a high throughput solid pickup. And this will be the actual output for the borax. Let's clear some of this forest out of the way, because it is definitely in my way. So what is this? 5 in and 5 out. We've also got pipes. I think that all just kind of works out, though. Yeah, that's fine. And then 82.3 is more than a stacked yellow belt. So we will grab a red belt. It'll be this. Eight, 12, 16. And I don't know why I had an outfall. I guess I used to have the muddy sludge processing on site at Borax, and I think I just accidentally kept the outfall in the YAFC sheet, even though it's not needed anymore. That's fine. You know what I don't think I did? I don't think I set up all the void stations correctly as voids on chromium and gold. So I think once I'm done here, we'll go set that up. Not that we have a lot that's a direct void, but yeah, that's not right. I think it's just the ash tailing. Yeah, it's really just the stone and the ash. Let me... Well, I can't copy and paste those very easily, so... Muddy sludge above 200K. So that is that part. Water is a little bit more than one pump. There water here? I'm so used to there always being water anywhere I need it. And I didn't really plan ahead here. Okay. Now I've got 12 crystal mines. Which I think is also how many I have right here, right? Oh no, that's 16. Okay. No, that is 12. I just can't count. And I think this configuration is perfect because we're going to want one belt coming up each side of our inputs. Pretty much that. Let's go one further north here and here. Just making room for this pipe. How to get power down here. Oh, is this pipe too? Wow. Okay. Where does it break? Oh, like here. That's not too bad. In that case, that's an upgrade planner. Do I have a decon planner? I don't. Let's set one up. We're just gonna redo this pipe. Because I hit pipeline overextended anyway. So we will try to be just a little smarter about where we're positioning everything. Oh, these have the wrong modules in them. Why was I running these with efficiency modules? Gross. Well, I guess the build was a lot smaller there. That's probably why. And Twitch is telling me that it's going to want to run an ad again soon. As always, I run just the one ad break an hour, just long enough to keep pre-roll ads turned off. I'm going to step away and get some water during the break. I recommend everyone else also take the opportunity to hydrate, stretch your legs, take care of yourselves as human beings. And when we're back, we'll figure out the next task, because I think this is done. I'll see everyone shortly. Welcome back, folks. I realized I'm an idiot. Shocker, I know. This middle belt needs to be stacked at the output of this whole thing. Because these are making, however much they make, 82.29, which is, turns out, 82.3 is more than 30. So all of these need to be pulled, effectively just pulled back by one. And now the real question, do I want to rerun this belt? Or are we going to accept this? Yeah, all of that lines up right still. Because this machine is in the same place, we shifted over the belt effectively. But now... Did I not hook this water pipe up right? Oh, no, I didn't. There we go. I don't know how I ended up putting that in such a wrong place, but... There we go. That's borax. This is annoying, but... What I could do, actually, if I want to make it slightly more compact. Ooh, even better. You know what? Let's do... If we drop a red belt here, then let's just do this whole thing as one red belt. And I think we're going to need stack inserters on this side too. Because this is just so much stuff. This is really pushing the limits of what I should try to do on one station, realistically. Maybe I will need to split this to 2 stations. We'll see. What is taking so long here? I mean, I guess it's running. It is true that this is not like a fully saturated stacked belt of input, so I think it is just that because the belt is saturated, it's taken a little while for it to drain. These produce slightly faster than it will be consumed in total. I just don't really want to be sitting here waiting for this, so we're gonna do this, and then I'm gonna have a bunch of raw borax in my inventory that I have to drop into the machines, but at least I'm not waiting around. God, that is a lot of raw borax. There we go. You've been a bit of a dum-dum? What happened? Probably set this all the way up to like 10. You deleted your Windows partition. That doesn't sound like being a dum-dum. That sounds like making good life choices. Is this done? I think we're done here for now. Let's... was going to upgrade to Windows 11 LTSC, but after I deleted my partition, it said it can't install through USB. Oof. Okay. So here's Blue Chips. I set this up, I don't even know how many weeks ago we set up this sheet. Really, at this point, it is about... have to install Linux and then reinstall. Ooh. I mean, you could stop halfway through. And just have Linux. A bunch of these things, like, yeah, processor cores aren't used for anything else until space science. So I kind of need to decide with some of these where I want to break up their assemblies and their subcomponents. Like, Nen-bit matrices, or those are used in a bunch of things. So we probably don't actually want to make those here. Superconducting wire, used in a bunch of things. We don't actually want to make it here. So we need to go through those various dependencies and figure out what are the things to start building. Can Linux read Windows partitioned drives? Yes. Depending on the distro, you know, you might have to install a package to enable the support, but... as far as getting access to files and stuff, that is not a problem. Yeah, Bazite should have that enabled. Again, maybe not like fresh off an install. You might have to click a button in the software manager to say, you know, hey, I want Windows. I don't know Bazite that well. Diode cores only used for SMD diodes. Okay. I need to decide what are the things I want to start, like, thinking about. Capacitor terminals, just a thing. Copper coating is also used... oh, interesting. This is along the path to optical fiber. This is cladded core, except we stop at copper coating. But optical fiber is all already built, so I think for this one, we will just do the copper coating on site. So I think SMD capacitors look good. Processors, the processor core is used in this, like, space science era thing. For Pi-Josephson junctions. Quantum simulation data for space science packs. Okay. But that's multiple packs away. So I think for now, we're just going to do the processor cores on site with processors. Oh, look, more Kaidasan, my favorite. So processors look good. Multilayer SMD capacitors look good. This looks less good. The inductors, I think I was saying already, Nenbit matrices look like they need to be split out. There's a bunch of stuff at this science and at the next science. My general philosophy when thinking about whether to split something out is if it's going to be needed for anything in the current science pack or the next science pack, I split it out. If it's like 2 or more science packs away, then I'm not going to bother. And yeah, carbon, like, current level is PySci 3. I don't have it marked as researched in YAFC, but... And then next level is prod science. So we do want to put Nenbit matrices into their own thing. And then superconducting wire, same deal. Oh, this is also used in Electronics Mark III, so that's in Mech Parts 3 over here. Yeah, superconducting wire. So we'll want to split that one out. Hey, Selfrin, welcome in. You've arrived just in time for the spreadsheeting part of Pyanodons. Superconducting coils are also used in other stuff. Coil cores are just part of superconducting coils. So I think superconducting coils get split out. Coil cores end up in there. And it looks like the copper cable was part of coil cores. There it is. Are you even playing a real game if you don't have a spreadsheet for it? Exactly. Acid, is this for seeing what makes up? Yeah, so this is a tool outside of the game that lets you look at all of the recipes, what goes into them, how many machines you need to make a certain amount of a thing. So here I'm saying I want 0.6 high-tech circuit boards a minute. Sorry, per second, which is like 36 a minute. Sure, we'll say 36 a minute. And that says, okay, you need one of these machines to make those. This is how much of all the inputs. And then I can sort of decide what things I want to be part of the factory that is, like, making the high-tech circuit boards. So all of these are also saying, I want to make superconducting coils here. Okay, I need 0.5 automated factories to do that. And then it shows me all of the things that feed into all of those recipes. It is super useful when you're playing really modded Factorio because the recipes are so complex. I think people have made tools like this for other things. I know there's like a Satisfactory factory designer tool. I'm sure someone has made one for various modded Minecraft. There's also in-game ones. I like this one, but the in-game ones for Factorio have gotten more powerful since I got used to using this one. I have one of them installed. Yeah, we've got Factory Planner here. And this does the same thing. Like, I can say I want to make, whatever, a casting unit. 1 per second. And I need to do copper plates for that, and that's going to cost me, I mean, whatever. You can see the the general process. It's basically the same thing, just using the in-game UI. All right, diode looks good. Some of those components will feed into, into this. So I want to make sure that we, like the multi-layer SMD capacitors, we need 0.3 a second here. But mech parts are going to use an extra 0.56 a second. So, like, we want to make sure that we are also exporting the multi-layer ceramic capacitors from here. Probably the same with, processors, printed circuit substrate, low power resistors. I think for circuit 2, I split everything out, right? Yes, I did. Okay. So that's what I'm going to want to do here. We're going to... Here, let's get rid of that. We're going to want to go through and we're going to want to split each of these things out into its own sort of factory so that we can get a better idea. This is really all in one place so that I can get a feel for, like, how much phosphate glass are we going to need? It looks like quite a bit, and things like that. And actually, if I'm going to do that, then let's actually add what we need. So 0.56 ceramic capacitors. 0.14 low power resistors. How did we end up with this weird multiple of 7 and everything? 0.28 electrolytic capacitors. Those are the previous tier. I'm not going to worry about those. Plasmonic cores are something we're going to want to split out, because core shell nanoparticles are part of nanostructure material, and we need this for all the tier 3 buildings. So yes, plasmonic cores will get split out. We'll deal with that later. 0.028 processors, 0.056 printed circuit substrate. Did I say 0.028 or 0.0414? I've already forgotten. 0.028 and then 0.056 of the substrate. Okay. And this is just, again, just trying to get a vibe for how big the builds need to be for all of these things that feed into this. Does anything else pull directly from what is on that sheet? I don't think so. I think everything here is otherwise just needing a bunch of other inputs. Okay. So that's a lot of epoxy. 0.28 here. 2.9 here, so that's 3. We probably need to scale up epoxy. .5, 2.4 plus 0.28 is 2.7, plus 2 is 4.7. How much epoxy are we currently making? 3. So yeah, we need to, like, double this. Cool. That's pretty much gonna be the process for a little while, is going through each of these input items and making sure that they're all up to snuff, and if there's any that we don't have, we make them. And then we can start going through everything that's in this sheet and getting it built out. What I do want to make sure is that, like, under mech parts 3 here, everything that's, like, Oh, things that might have inputs, like another 0.084 gold. But I think that's okay, because I made extra anyway. Thank goodness. But yeah, just making sure we have all of everything broken down to like its reasonable level of inputs so that I know that I'm not looking at anything super weird. More superconducting wire actually is in this tab. Niobium pipes, rubber, ethyl cyanoacrylate. I don't think I have as a tab yet. I do not. So that's going to be a new thing. Formaldehyde, plastic bars, and cyanoacrylate, which is also used to make erbium, which is used for some stuff in pink science. Okay. So I think we do want to split the cyanoacrylate out, is what I'm seeing. That's fine. Special small parts I'm going to make as their own tab, because they're definitely a dedicated build. We'll get to that. Phenolic boards, am I already making those? Surely those are part of... No, those are a new tier of board? Okay. Fiberboard, Bakelite, sodium hydroxide, and a... There's no way I'm not making... Nope. Okay. Phenolic boards. Let me search in the factory. I have a hard time believing I do make phenolic boards. Oh, but they're part of... okay. Something else that I only set up sort of as part of something else. So that's fine. What is this going to be used for? Brakes, Mark III, and nothing else. Okay, so the phenolic board we'll just do on site, because I'm never going to use wind turbines, so whatever. Super steel, shafts, advanced casings, boron carbide is going to be a new thing. Boron trioxide and coke. Okay, that's easy. Make sure I've got everything that can be prodded flagged for prod modules, just so that all my input amounts are right. Special small parts, we're up to like 4.3 a second, which feels like it's going to be a lot of special small parts. Although, here, I apparently already decided that I wanted to make 7.2 a second, so that's cool. Glad that I'm on top of that. I think that's... well, it's not quite everything. We've got this alloy. Molybdenum, silicon, titanium, aluminium, nexolite special alloy. I don't know if I'm already making that. Let me turn everything here into nested tables, which seems silly, and it kind of is, but it is so that I know that all of these really are meant to be separate factories in the final build, rather than part of this. Although I will do shafts, brakes, hydraulic systems, electronics, utility boxes, and gearboxes, like, all near each other. We did the same thing with mech parts 1 and 2. If I find mech parts 1, yeah. Mech parts 1 with all of its inputs, gearboxes, shafts, utility, there we go. Easier to see when I zoom out. And then mech parts 2 is similar down here. Spread out a lot more because it has a lot more weird input ingredients, but same basic thing. They all feed into mech parts 2 with belts. So all of those will actually be on site. It's all of this stuff that's going to be split out. Okay. So yeah, we're going to need more epoxy. That's definitely a thing. We're probably going to need more Nexolite matrices too, which I happen to have open because they use epoxy, and this is where things start to get silly. Right? So Nexolite matrix, we're going to need... We look at all of our things that use it. 0.5, 0.75 is 1.25, 2.25. Does this use any directly? No. So we're going to use like 2.25 Nexolite matrices. Oh, that's actually fine. Did I already do this upgrade, or did I just think about doing this upgrade? Like, did I do this as part of prep for Circuit 3, but I never did the build? Nope, there's 3 of those machines. Beautiful. So yeah, Nexolite matrix is good. Epoxy is definitely not good, though. Sitting at 2.88, and I said I need, what, 4.7? Shoot, I already forgot. $1.8 plus 0.5 is 2.3 plus 2.9, 4.2 plus mech parts is another 0.3. So yeah, like 4.5. 4 point what? I mean, there we go. 4.8 is 15 agitators, although it is not a nice even number of mixers and chemical plants. Nope, did that math wrong. 5.28 plus 0.48 is 5. Oh, and that's just doubling what we had. Okay. Fine, I guess that's what we're doing. We're doubling what we had. Do we have space to do that where we're currently running epoxy, or do I have to do a new epoxy build? Oh, well, we got 10 machines there, not 9. 5 of those, 9 of those. Oh, no, that's right. I was looking at the wrong machine. Yes, with some asterisks, we do have space here. These two, no problem doubling these up, I don't think. And then this down here, though, the BPA, I'm gonna have to... Do I have space to mirror this? No. Okay. I think what I will have to do is move the BPA just a little bit south so that I can mirror it up north over, and then we'll get 2 columns of that. And then these 2 columns can expand just fine. That will be what we need. Because it's already half built, we're doubling it. So have all the numbers that YAFC gave us. So that'll be epoxy. Nextlit matrices are good. Going on down the list, we looked at plastic recently and did a big upgrade to that. We've looked at optical fiber recently. We looked at nylon, right? I remember looking at nylon a couple weeks ago. Nickel. Microchips. Yeah, the various things that feed from silicon. So microchips, transistors. So transistors are only used in complex circuit boards, so we shouldn't have to change those at all. 0.6, yeah, we're making plenty. MOSFETs are used in mech parts 2, high tech, and complex. So that's 2 a second, 3 a second, 4 a second. We're making 3.2 a second. Okay. So we just need one more machine to upgrade MOSFETs. I'm going to keep the transistors tab open because we are going to need to count up all of our silicon consumption as we upgrade things. And then microchips are used in just both kinds of circuit boards. Okay. 1 a second, 0.6 a second, so we'll need 1.6. Okay, 1.68. 7 electronics factories making microchips. Okay. What's our current status of that? We have 3 factories making microchips. We have 1 making transistors, which is correct. I didn't even think about diodes. Diodes are only used in complex circuit boards, so they don't change. So I think it's that I just have to change how I'm trying to squeeze my microchips in here, because we're going to need a lot more of those machines. What am I making? I'm working on the next tier of circuit boards. So all of this stuff is the tier 2 circuits, which are these guys, the red ones. The tier 3 circuits are the blue ones. But they reuse some of the same inputs. I've got like silicon processing that's going to be shared across both of them. So I'm going through all the things that are sort of shared and figuring out what do I already have that's already built that I need to make bigger. What do I need to build fresh, etc. I've looked at some of this in the past, and I'm just kind of double checking everything now because I sort of got caught up with actually being ready to make progress on it. So yeah, we're gonna need 1 more factory making MOSFETs. That's fine. We're gonna need a lot more factories making microchips. This says 7 in total. There's 3 here. So we might have to change how and where we're doing microchips. Is there an infinite amount of resources? There are some infinite sources, but the main, like, ore patches do drain eventually. Oh, yeah, here we go. We can see this iron one is starting to struggle. All these machines blinking at me. But these like resource node things are infinite. So they will, if I set up mines on those, they last forever. Yeah, it's just the patches. I think the nodes, the rocks being infinite is a setting from... It's definitely a setting from the mod, because the base game doesn't really have resource nodes like this. Ooh, science is stalled. Why is science stalled? Is it... Yep, vat brains again. Why are vat brains stalled? Brains? How do we not have brains? That's ridiculous. I mean, augs are running. How did we end up with output full? Aren't we? Oh, I'm an idiot. I never hooked this pipe up. So we're just not pushing the arthropod blood into the output. So these guys haven't been running at all. They don't make brains anyway. So they're not the reason our brains aren't happening. But... then on this side, these guys do make brains, and they're not running because we don't have any of them right now. And I did recently upgrade this build, so let's make sure that it's not broken. Hey, guess what? It's broken. Why is it broken? We don't have sea sponge. Why don't we have sea sponges? Do we just consume way too much sea sponge right now? We probably just consume way too much sea sponge. I probably got lazy about checking for demand for sea sponge, and now it's a problem. Oh yeah, because it gets pulled into a bunch of recent things. Okay, so what are we looking at? 0.37 plus 1.2, 1.57 plus 0.8 is 2.37. Plus 0.27 is 2.64. 2.7. 2.83. Let's just call it 3. Alright, that's a problem. Do I have a better sea sponge recipe available to me yet? I do have sponge 3, but it's buried behind a bunch of stuff. No, I don't have a better sea sponge recipe. This gives me better... the better sea sponge modules, and it gives me the better buildings, but I don't actually get a better recipe. Interesting. So that is unfortunate, because I'm already using the best recipe we have. But yeah, if we need to upgrade this to like 3 a second... Even that's not quite enough. Uh, 2.48. Yeah, it's like 2.9. Yeah, not quite. I'll have to do the math on the net, like... Okay, so this is 1 to 2, but it's prodded at 1.2. So every 1.2 input is... It's not quite 2.8. I need another, like, what's the fraction of this? Sorry, another 1/19 of 2.8. So like 0.147, 2.947? See, not quite right. But closer. Sorry, I'm struggling here. What's 3.2 of this gonna be? Yeah, 24 sponge cultures, 7.74 bioreactors. 3.6? No. Yeah, 2.8 is 21 sponge cultures. Why am I struggling to do this math right? Sorry. I slept very poorly last night, and I am starting to feel it when I'm staring at this, trying to be like, how do I make this into a nice round number of buildings? So what did we start at? We started at 2.48. Okay. If we were to double this... That's a lot. You know what? Let's do that. I think 3.72 is a number that'll work. We split the difference. There we go. This is what I was trying to get to. Is that enough? I've already... Oh, I closed all the tabs. Shoot. I've been staring at this trying to do the math for so long, I forgot how much we actually needed. Is 3.72 enough? .37, call it 0.4, 1.6, 2.4, 2.7, still basically 2.7. 2.8, whatever. So yes, 3.72 is plenty. So that's like 50%, well, 50% more bioreactors and a different number more sponge cultures, because looping recipes are weird. Oh, this isn't even upgraded to that level yet. This is still like half of what that sheet says it should be. and that sheet was still too small of a number. So yeah, we're gonna need a lot more sponge. Which is fine. It's just gonna mean some changes to how this is set up. Because I don't think I want to be trying to do 28 of these in a row all the way across here. I don't think they'll fit, for one thing. So we're gonna try to do, I guess, 2 rows of them. And then go from there. Oh, but I'm doing weird stuff with the input belts. Yeah, I think it's going to be like a total refactor. But we need 18 sponge cultures. We need 6 of the lab things, bioreactors. Here, let's start the requester chest. Sponga, 18. Bioreactors, 6. Prod modules, 12. Apparently we had one of those sitting in storage. I'm fine with that. That makes my life easier. So I think those are decent things to be looking at. Here, let's name these epoxy upgrade and sponge upgrade. Cool. What else do we have to do? I mentioned MOSFETs and microchips, so we're going to need another chunk of electronics factories for both of those. How many factories do we have for each of those already? We've got 4 doing MOSFETs. We're going to need 5. We've got 3 here, so we have 7 in total. We need 12, so we need 5 more. And they're not chip shooters. No, electronics factories. 5 of those. And prod modules. 10 of those. Epoxy, I already have the upgrade for. That's this one. Okay. What else are we going to need heaps more of to do stuff? Phosphate glass. We need 0.97 here. That cannot be right. We already make it. How is it possible that we have... Oh, are we only using phosphate glass for stuff on the mall right now? Is that the situation? So this is the first time we're going to need it in, like, some specified quantity? Yeah, it's used in, like, animal pens and stuff. But not in anything useful so far. Yeah. Codexes. And then these are the components, the electronic components that we're setting up right now. The resistors, the diodes. Going to be used in VatBrain 3, that's important. And a bunch of other stuff moving forward. Okay, but right now it is just the amount that we need here, plus a trickle for them all. And we already make 1 a second. So actually, we're okay? Sure. Cool, we don't have to do phosphate glass. I'll take that. That's a win. Nextlet matrices I looked at already, and they're fine. Solder graphene rolls are used in high-tech circuit boards and great alien samples. 1 2/3. We're currently making 1.8. That's fine. Copper plates, Kevlar. We almost certainly need more Kevlar. I'm always behind on Kevlar. I don't want to look at Kevlar right now. I'm choosing to pretend that it won't be a problem. And then we've got the various types of doped silicon. Which are currently just used for MOSFETs, transistors, diodes, but are now also going to be used for processors. Just processors? Just processors, because the new diodes are not using... I guess these are not junction diodes. They're some kind of different diode. What kind of diode do we think they are? They're not a junction diode. We've got tin rare earth alloy, Nexalate plate, biofilm, some kind of whisker diode? Anyway, getting distracted. So lightly p-doped silicon, 0.8 plus 3.33 is a little over 4, plus 4.67, sorry, 8.8, plus... We just don't use lightly p-doped in here? Okay. But still, now that we're making more MOSFETs and more microchips, we do need to upgrade this. So... one more machine, we'll pull it up to 9.6, which is plenty. Lightly N-doped is not used in diodes. 3 1/3 plus 4.67. Okay, so that's the same thing. That's 8 again. Plus 0.48, 8.48. So, I mean, same deal, right? Just one more machine. Heavily N-doped. 3 1/3. Not used here. And in high-tech circuit boards, 0.48. So just under 4. So the 4.8 is fine. And then we're going to add the new heavily p-doped. That's a new... And we only need a small amount of that, yeah. But, like, we're going to have one machine doing it, so... What do we need for cold, clean air? Cold air, purified air, pressurized air. Okay. None of that is wild or crazy to manufacture. Some new byproducts that we're going to have to deal with. Liquid nitrogen. Have I finally started making liquid nitrogen, like, centralized? I don't think so. I probably should. But no, we're making it on site here for terephthalonyl chloride, and we're making it on site here for retrovirus. Okay. I think I do want to make a new liquid nitrogen build. Obviously, the old things will not have migrated over to it, but... that's the question. Is cool air or is cold air used? No, is cold clean air used? Kind of. Oh, and we need liquid clean air for helium? Yes. Okay. So yeah, let's do liquid nitrogen. Let's just do a dedicated liquid nitrogen build. That's fine. So we'll leave that here. So that's heavily p-doped. I'm okay with that. And that's all the silicon. Nanocrystalline cellulose, I should probably check. Gold, we just did as part of the upgrade for... what's it called? Chromium. Nichrome, I'm not worried about. Liquid nitrogen. Said we wanted to make it standalone now. Chitosan, we definitely are going to need more of. Tin rare earth alloy. Rare earth alloy might be a new thing. I don't know if we're making that. Same with the silver zinc. coil core. Sorry, that just wasn't linked correctly. Yeah, everything else here is looking pretty... Boron carbide. Did I also have boron carbide in mech parts 3? Yes. All right. So we'll need to do that. Okay. I think I'm going to wrap up here. Like I said a few minutes ago, I did not sleep great last night, and my brain is turning to mush, and I can only do pie for so long, even on a good day, and today is not a good day. So let's call it here for today. I don't know what I'm doing for tomorrow's stream yet. We'll figure it out. Play it by ear. Next week should be a normal schedule with pie on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I think I'm going to keep doing Isles of Sea and Sky that I was playing yesterday on Wednesdays until I finish that or I get frustrated. And next Friday is the Pal World 1.0 drop, so I might do Pal World on Friday? We'll see. We'll see how I'm feeling, if I'm feeling up for a survival crafter. But yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in. I really appreciate it. If you found this on YouTube and want to watch me live, there is a link to my Twitch down in the description. And I'll see everybody next time.